Confused with all the Procreate icons and feeling a little overwhelmed with knowing where to start? When I first opened this app, I remember feeling like I had no idea how to get started. I figured out how to do a simple sketch, but beyond that, I wasn't sure what all of the icons were and when and how to use them. In this video, I'm going to give you a basic overview of what you need to know to get started using Procreate. Since this app is so powerful, I won't go into detailed info for each area, but after this video, you will know the essentials to be well on your way to creating digital art. When you first open the app, you will come to the gallery. As you create your own pieces, those will pop up. Now, Procreate does come preloaded with a few different sample pieces. You can delete or keep those. Now, under each artwork, you will see you have the option of renaming it. It will also tell you the size of that canvas. Then you have Select up in that upper right corner, which allows you to select an individual file to send to your laptop or your phone. You can also import a file or import a photo into the gallery. Now, to create a new canvas, you're going to click on that plus sign. Procreate comes loaded with several standard sizes. If you're just getting started, I would go with the 8.5 by 11. Now, an important thing to remember with Procreate is it is a raster-based program, so it uses pixels. So you can't easily size up without your artwork becoming pixelated or blurry. So if you know that you want your finished art to be 16 by 20 inches, go ahead and make your canvas 16 by 20 inches because you can easily size down with Procreate, but not up. Now, once you get onto your canvas, you can use your two fingers to swipe back and forth to zoom in and out on your canvas. Then you have all of your icons. So what do they all mean? I'm going to tell you. So up in your upper left corner, you have the wrench tool. So that is where all of your actions reside. So your add, your canvas, share, video, preference, help. So under add, you can insert a file, you can insert a photo, you can take a photo, you can add text to your art, and then you have all your standard cut, copy, paste options. You can also copy your entire canvas. Under canvas, you have the option of cropping and resizing. You also have animation assist, which I've never worked with that. There's also a page assist option. If you have that clicked, you can create multiple pages in your document. You can see there, just click on a new page. You can toggle back and forth. You can duplicate or delete your pages. There's also a drawing guide. So you can click on that, and when you click on that, you can have the option of editing your drawing guide. So you can choose to have a 2D grid, isometric, perspective, symmetry. And then under each of those, you have the opacity you can change, thickness of the lines, the grid size. There's assisted drawing to help you draw. And then up at the top, you can also adjust the color. So if your background is dark, you're going to want lighter grid lines than when it's white. And then you have your reference option. This is nice because you can import a file or a photo right onto your canvas. So I'm going to bring that joy photo right in there, and I can use that to refer to as I draw. And then under there, you also have where you can flip your canvas horizontally or vertically. You also have your canvas info, which just gives you the dimensions, layers, color profile, video settings. Then you have share. So under here, you have the option of sharing your image to your laptop. You have several different file types to choose from. You can also share your individual layers. And then you have video. So if you have this clicked, Procreate will record as you draw. You can watch the replay, and you can also export that video. This is a fun option to have if you want to share it on social media. Then you have preferences. So here you can change to a light and a dark interface, to a right hand, a left hand interface. There's also the option of projecting the canvas onto a screen. There's options for adjusting the pressure and the smoothing and gesture controls. So that's as you get more into the program, you can play around with those options. And then you have help, so that has links to the Procreate handbook and learning more about Procreate. The next icon is the adjustments icon. So here you will find your hue and saturation and brightness, color balance. You have some different blur options. So those are just fun to play around with. And simply just draw a shape, and you can see I'm playing around with that here. Your next two icons are the Select and the Transform tools. I use these tools the most when I have two shapes on the same layer and I want to move just one shape. So to do that, I choose the Transform tool first, and that selects everything on that layer. And then I click on the Select tool, and that allows me to draw around the object that I want to move. And as you can see, it makes it really easy to just move that shape. And then under the Select, you can see you have automatic, freehand, rectangle, ellipses. So you can just play around with that. And then the Transform tool is really fun because that's the tool that allows you to move things, you can flip things, you can rotate. You also have the Distort and the Warp tools here. So that's just fun to play around with. Then your middle buttons there just allow you to move the program to the left or right side of your screen. And then the next icon, we're starting with the groups over here to your upper right, is the brush library. So Procreate does come loaded with a lot of different brush options. There's also many places online that you can purchase brushes. And that's simply just getting in there and playing around and seeing what textures you like. You can also, if you double click on a brush, it allows you to customize that brush. The next icon is the smudge tool, and you can go in and choose the brush that you want to use with that smudge tool. Same thing with the next icon, that's the eraser. And with the eraser, I do like to go in and if I'm using a textured brush to draw a shape with, if I need to erase something on that shape, I like to use that same brush because you can see here, I'm going to draw a shape for you. And if I draw that and I color it in, I get a little outside the lines there, farther than I want. I go in, and if I just use any old brush, you can see there's going to be a hard line when I go to erase. But if I go in and I choose that same brush that I used that has that texture, I can have a softer edge. And so I love having that option. You can also see it's a great way to add some texture. If you have a solid shape like that, you can use that eraser tool and use a texture brush versus if you have one that doesn't have texture. Your next icon is the layers. So to add a layer, you simply click that plus sign. You can move the layers around. This is great if you want to move objects in front or behind of something else. So you can see right now that heart is in front of that circle, but if I want it behind, I simply go and I move that layer that the heart is on behind the layer that has the circle. You can also change the background color in the Layers panel. Up next is the color circle. So here you have your palettes. You can choose your color with the color wheel. You also have where you can choose different color schemes. So like complementary, split complementary. You also have an area where if you know the hex code of your color, so if you have a very specific color that you want to use, you can plug that in there. I use that quite a bit. And then you also have your palette section, so you can create specific palettes that you want to use for a project. And then over on the left side, you have the size of your brush stroke. So you can see there when I have it at the max versus when I have it smaller, you do get a very big difference there. And then underneath that, you have where you can control the opacity. So I usually have that at 100%, but if you do want lighter, you can see there is a big difference. And then the arrows underneath is just another way you can undo or redo things. And then the square in the center is your color selector. So if you want to draw another shape with that purple color, for example, you can put your color selector over it, and if you look at your color circle, it will change, and that will be the color that you're working with. So I hope this video has helped take the mystery out of Procreate for you, at least a little bit. Remember to like and subscribe. Let me know if there's any other video tutorials you'd like to see. Thanks for watching.